Welcome to CrackHeadStudioz. Aye.
What's up? Comic Corner episode 2. This week I'm unprofessional. Let me just say, this is Halo 3, and you know on Comic Corner we like to do obscure games, and this is the first Halo 3 game I've played, or I had played in gotta be around 6 months, maybe almost 7 months, since I played Halo 3, and so that's why there's a lot of fails, like right there. There's a lot of fails in this one, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about comics, and this episode I have something kind of interesting for you. It's an online comic, and it's free. So if you don't read comics, you really have no reason not to check this out. It's called Guns of Shadow Valley. I think that's what it's called. I haven't read it in a little while, but it's called Guns of Shadow Valley. A lot of people called it the best online comic of 2010. I couldn't say because I don't read online comics that much, but this one is about like the occult within the West, within the Wild West. It follows a couple of characters as they haven't done much so far because the comic, I think they only release a page every month, but I can't say for sure. And I think they have about 2.5 comics, like actual issues so far. So don't be disappointed if you get to that one spot in the comic and it just stops and you have to wait a month just to get a page. I think that's a horrible system. I really do. But it's free, so you can't really complain. It's really interesting. It has to do with all this stuff, and none of it's really making sense yet in the comic. The double kill. The only, yeah, none of it's really explained. Like, there's this one part, for instance, where a kid, they tie him to a bed, and then they set the house on fire that he's in, and he just walks out on fire. And there's this fat ass who's like, weighs a ton, literally. He weighs about, like, I don't know, 1,500 pounds or something, 2,000 pounds, like, okay, whatever, he's fat, he's, like, morbidly obese, and he spits fire, and, apparently, and this is, I think, after the Civil War, but I'm not sure, but there's a band of, Confederate soldiers that have, kind of not chosen to stop fighting, and so they're still fighting. And this guy who has like a metal hand, he's their leader, he's general, completely blanking on his name, but he's the one kind of with the occult. And when I say occult, I mean he worships a unknown deity that sort of is just playing him for a fool and treating him like an asshole, but the guy does what he says, the deity says anyway. That's it. It's a good comic. It has some, I guess you would say, I have no idea. It has these moments where you're like, oh, that's kind of hokey. That's kind of cheese right there. You know, it's good for what it is, and it is an online comic. You know, what they've got so far, it's, like I said, only about 2.5 issues, so you can pretty much read it in about an hour and a half or so. Again, called Guns of Shadow Valley, and it's interesting. I don't know, it's just something you don't see very much, because a lot of the Western comics you see, they're cookie cutter, and they're not very, they don't differ too much. I don't know. But this one, it has interesting views. Interesting. It's really interesting. And now I have to talk for another 2 minutes. There just isn't a lot to say about it as far as content goes, just because there's only 2.5 issues so far, and there won't be another page of the 3rd issue for a month or so, you know. I guess I'll just give my view on other comic news and shit. So, it was announced the other day that they're going to do a comic, the 6-issue story arc, taking place in between Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. For those of you that don't know, Arkham Asylum, obviously the 2009, I want to say, yeah, 2009 Batman video game, hailed as the best comic book video game of all time, without a doubt. That is. The sequel is called Arkham City. I think there's been rumors it's open world, which would be interesting. An open world Batman game just sounds amazing. But they're doing a game to bridge the gap, and I think I heard Tom Dini is going to be writing it. For those of you that don't know, Tom Dini is a longtime Batman writer, and he knows Batman, and I think he's one of the best choices, you know, for it. I can't think of any other big Batman writers that would do that, like Grant Morrison, Frank Miller. You know, Frank Miller's, his prime has passed, and now he's just doing shitty movies, but what are you gonna do? You know, Grant Morrison, I think he fucked up Batman way too much. I think Arkham Asylum is a great comic and a great graphic novel, and I love it. But I'm not a fan of Grant Morrison's Batman and Robin, is all I have to say. You know, I think it's really stupid what he did, and he fucked it up for a while. You know, and we're entering the tail end of this. I just have a lot of ideas floating in my head for what I want to do with the channel. It may be a little while until any of them actually see the light of day, you know. Or I might do something kind of soon, maybe even today. I don't know. Well, see you guys. I highly suggest you subscribe to CrackHeadStudioz. We have so much variety. You know, love you guys. Bye. Have a good day.